In the vibrant village of Ikmetu, nestled among lush hills in southwest Nigeria, lived a lively girl named Enumu. From the time she was very small, Enumu had a sharp tongue and a quick wit. She found humor in almost everything and everyone, and she wasn't shy about sharing her thoughts, whether it was the way someone walked, talked, or looked. Enumu always had something funny to say. When she saw old Chief Ade's big round belly, she giggled and called him Chief Drum. When she saw Auntie Bola's big nose, she laughed and said it looked like a mountain. Even when she saw her own little brother wobbling around as he learned to walk, she called him baby dog. Enumu, that's not nice, her mother often scolded. You should not make fun of others. Yes, Enumu, her father would add. Your words can hurt people. Be kind, but Enumu didn't listen. She loved the laughter her jokes brought, and she loved being the center of attention. One hot afternoon, Enumu was walking back from the stream with a pot of water on her head. As she walked down the dusty path, she saw an old woman ahead, walking slowly with a stick. Enumu quickened her pace and caught up with the woman. Hey, look at you, Enumu called out. You are walking like a tired tortoise. Are you sure you will make it home before dark? The old woman stopped and turned. Her eyes, though old and cloudy, were sharp. She stared at Enumu but said nothing. Enumu laughed and continued on her way, feeling pleased with her joke. Years passed, and Enumu grew into a beautiful young woman. Her sharp tongue remained, but she became more careful about who she teased. She married a kind man named Kola, and they were very happy together. When Enumu found out she was going to have a baby, she was overjoyed. The whole village of Ipetu was excited for her. They all awaited the arrival of the new baby with great anticipation. The day finally arrived for Enumu to give birth, but something went terribly wrong. The midwife who helped with the birth gasped and stepped back. Instead of a crying baby, she found a cold, hard stone. Kola and Enumu were shocked and heartbroken. The village was filled with whispers and rumors. How could this have happened? As Enumu held the stone, she remembered the elderly woman she had made fun of so many years ago. But she didn't connect the incident immediately. Days turned into weeks, and Enumu couldn't shake the feelings that something was wrong. One night, Enumu had a strange dream. She saw the old woman from the path, and the woman whispered, "Find me, Enumu. Only I can help you." Desperate for answers, Enumu decided to find the old woman. She wrapped the stone baby in clothes and told Kola about her plan. I have to find her, Kola. I think she knows something, Kola agreed. Though he was worried. Be careful, Enumu. I will pray for your safe return. Enumu set out on her journey, not knowing where to start. She asked everyone she met if they knew of an old woman who walked with a stick. But no one could help her. One evening, as Enumu was resting under a tree, an old man approached her. I hear you are looking for someone, he said. An old woman with a stick? Yes, Enumu exclaimed. Do you know where she is? The old man nodded. I saw her many years ago, near the edge of the forest. She lived alone, far from the village. Enumu thanked the old man and headed towards the forest. The path was dark and twisted, and Enumu felt a shiver of fear. But she was determined to find the woman and ask for forgiveness. As she walked deeper into the forest, strange sounds surrounded her. Owls hooted, and the wind whispered through the trees. Enumu clutched the stone baby tightly, hoping she was on the right path. After hours of walking, Enumu finally saw a small hidden hut. Smoke curled from its chimney, and the smell of eggs filled the air. She approached the door and knocked softly. The door creaked open, and there stood the elderly woman, her eyes still sharp. I have been expecting you, Enumu, she said in a calm voice. Enumu fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. Please forgive me. I now know that my words hurt you. I beg you to leave the curse so I can have a real baby. The old woman looked at Enumu for a long moment. Your words were cruel, Enumu, but I say that you are truly sorry. To leave the curse, you must perform a task. Enumu nodded eagerly. I will do anything. The old woman handed Enumu a small carved wooden box. Inside this box is a special seed. You must plant it at the center of the village and tend to it every day. When it blooms, the curse will be lifted. Enumu took the box and promised to fulfill the task. She thanked the woman and made her way back to Ikpetu. Her heart filled with hope. Enumu returned to Ikpetu and immediately went to the center of the village. The villagers gathered around, curious about the small wooden box she carried. What is that, Enumu? Asked Chief Ade. It's a special seed, Enumu explained. I must plant it here and care for it every day. The villagers watched as Enumu carefully planted the seed in the ground. She watered it and whispered a prayer. Every day, Enumu tended to the seed, giving it water and love. The sprouts grew taller each day, and Enumu's hope grew with it. The villagers of Ikpetu began to believe that something magical was happening. They offered to help Enumu care for the plants, bringing water and fertilizer. Thank you, everyone, Enumu said gratefully. This means so much to me. The villagers worked together, and the sprouts soon turned into a beautiful plant with strong leaves. One night, a terrible storm swept through Ikpetu. The wind howled, and the rain poured down in torrents. Enumu lay awake, worried about the plants. Kola I must check on the plant, she said. It's too dangerous, Kola warned. The storm is fierce, but Enumu couldn't rest. She braved the storm, running to the center of the village. She found the plant bent over, its leaves battered by the wind. No, Enumu cried. She used her own body to shield the plant, standing in the rain until the storm passed. When morning came, the storm had ended. Enumu was drenched and exhausted, but the plant was still standing. She smiled with relief and went on to change into dry clothes. Days later, something incredible happened. A bud appeared on the plant and it began to bloom. The flower that emerged was the most beautiful Enumu had ever seen, with bright petals that glowed in the sunlight. As the flower bloomed fully, Enumu felt a strange sensation in her heart. She rushed home to Kola, holding the stone baby in her arms. Kola, I think it's time. The curse is lifting, she said. Together they watched in amazement as the stone began to change. It grew warm and soft, and soon the stone baby transformed into a real living baby boy. The baby cried out, and Enumu heart swelled with joy. The villagers of Epetu celebrated the miraculous event. They gathered around Enumu and Kola, sharing and singing. Thank you, everyone, Enumu said, tears of happiness streaming down her face. Your support and kindness helped us through this. Chief Ade stepped forward and smiled. You have learned a great lesson, Enumu. Kindness and humility have brought you this blessing. Enumu's sharp tongue was no more. She had learned the power of words and the importance of kindness. She treated everyone with respect and care, becoming a beloved member of the village. She often visited the elderly woman in the forest, bringing gifts and sharing stories. The woman smiled warmly at Enumu's transformation. You have grown, Enumu, the old woman said. Remember this lesson and pass it on to your children. Years passed, and Enumu's children grew up hearing the story of the stone baby and the magical seed. They learned to be kind and thoughtful, just like their mother. Enumu and Kola lived happily in Ipetu, surrounded by their loving family and friends. The village flourished, and the beautiful flower in the center of the village stood as a reminder of the power of kindness and forgiveness.